Yes, 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 yes. Praise Allah. Yeah, we here. All right. This is what it is. Ask the Magi is here. We up here doing it. Live and direct. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? First I rise. Giving all perfect praises due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of all worlds and boundless universes. I like to give honors to where honors is due, his heavenly hosts, Mikael, Salatu Salam, Jibrail, Salatu Salam, Anael, Salatu Salam, and all the Elohim surround his currency. I'd like to give honors to his holy and divine prophets from A to Z, from Adam to Zoroaster. The special notes on Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Jonah, Ali, etc. All right. I'd like to give honors to my mother, Sonny, Sandra Maxwell. I like to give honors to the Hughes family. I like to give honors to my family, the Bay Band Family Trust. You know what I mean? My brother, Saifullah, Lord Saifullah Bay, Lord AC. I like to give honors to my big brother, ROMG. And I like to give thanks and praise for all my Moors across these shores. This is the Ask the Magistrate. I am the founder of the International Interfaith Court, and we're having a special session that we're going to do from here on out, inshallah, called Ask the Magistrate. And I'm going to see if I can take a reading first and talk about how we became magistrate. And this is a class of sorts, a study group for those who would like to learn how to become a judge within their private religious society, and also too within the Pennsylvania Commonwealth and others so-called corporate jurisdictions. They do have a judgeship course that we will help you assist you with becoming a magistrate or operating your branch of our faith-based family court system. And just to let you know, I want to take a reading from the Holy Quran and of Mecca, and I'm going to read it in the English version, just as a reading. Uh, and it says in chapter 7, Al Araf, and it's in the fifth fifth verse or ayat, when it says that in English, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, most merciful, most beneficent, most merciful. Um, but far be that from God which they associated with him. Will they associate with him false gods which create nothing, but are themselves created, and can neither give assistance nor help themselves? And if ye invite them to the true direction, they will not follow you. It will be equal to unto you whether ye invite them or whether ye hold your peace. Verily, the false deities whom ye invoke besides God are servants like unto you. Call therefore upon them and let them give you an answer if ye speak truth. Had they feet to walk with, or had they hands to lay hold with, or had they ears to see with, or had they um, ears to hear with, rather, or they have eyes to see with, or have ears to hear with? Say, call upon your companions, and then lay a snare for me, and defer it not. For God is my protector, who sent down the book of the Quran, and he protecteth the righteous. But they whom ye invoke besides him cannot assist you, neither do they help themselves. And if ye call on them to direct you, they will not hear. Thou seest them looks towards thee, but they see not. Use intelligence and command that which is just and withdraw from the ignorant. Wow, right? So that's my reading. Praise Allah, for that. And just to give you a little background on how I became a magistrate, um, I came a magistrate in the year 2013 CE as I created the country's first faith-based family court. We're going to take cases here on Ask the Magistrate, and we're going to take cases coming from the community and also take cases coming from um, those out not in our community, but who also need assistance and need help with their legal affairs and lawful affairs. All right. This is not legal advice. This is actually consultation, and this is actually being judged. As we get into the further sessions, we will make rulings. We will make uh, court orders, and also we will go into restorative justice. And so, myself also in 2023, 10 years after I created the chaplain's court, as we call it, chaplain's court, but it's properly the interfaith court. Uh, we call it chaplain's court because you get the chaplain of your choice to handle anything family court wise. That the chaplain serves as a magistrate. And I went 10 years, solar years later, and I attended and graduated from the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania at their minor judiciary uh, course, where I became a arraignment court magistrate certified candidate and graduated and got my diploma, and just awaiting a job if I were to so choose it at the Philadelphia Municipal Court as an arraignment court magistrate, what we would used to call bail judge, and also uh, to operate our own faith-based court. See, so whether you would like to participate as someone who has a case you would like to be heard, feel free to give a love offering and we will talk about your case. We will break down your case. We will have experts present on the line out there in cyberspace and in the real world who will be willing to help as angel advocates to assist and aid you in resolving your affairs. And we have our Allah's angel advocates, and they are, we don't do devil's advocate. So we have Allah's angel advocates. Shouts out and honors to Sister Angela Bay, one of our new angel advocates that has been assisting the court, the Philadelphia branch, the Philadelphia Interfaith Court, with cases as they come around. And we've been assisting and aiding elders with elder abuse. And so this is your call. If you're passionate to help people, feel free to join our Angel Advocate program. Become an Angel Advocate, become a family advocate. You can also join our Boondock Saints First Responders Unit, which is a department within our Sharif department, or what the bailiff has within their department. And so this is the opportunity. We will be going for 45 minutes or so at a time, and we will be talking about all of these cases that are out there in the public, but mainly for those of you who have issues that are really never getting heard and never getting, you know, worked on. Uh, we've had a lot of success in the past with closing out so many family court cases where they have recently took or taken a child, and we come to help them uh, restore or return the child back to the parents. Also, to mainly do child support and child custody advocacy. You see, so the child support and child custody advocacy is very much in high demand. And we started in 2013 operating inside of the largest courthouse in Philadelphia, and that was the Philadelphia Municipal Court Building, or what they call the Criminal Justice Center. And so we probably will take on our first case today to talk about uh, issues that are plaguing different family members out there. So if you're tuned in, we will be here today, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., and we will probably come on later on tonight, either 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. So that way we can take cases from those folks who definitely wanted to join in today and at this time, but they work regular jobs. And so we are going to give them the opportunity to, come in and have their cases heard. Honors to Prince Montre out there in Cincinnati, honors to Just Saif out there in Atlanta, honors to Sister Taisha Lightfoot Bay in Philadelphia, and um, honors to Prince Bishop Alfred L. Phillips in so-called Brooklyn. And these are folks that either trained with the court, have been served as officers of the court. Also, praise Allah for the professor the Imam Saifullah Al-Amriki, which who is the professor of the Warrior Within Dojo. He's a professor of Sanuka's Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, and shouts out to goes to you, Professor, as we started our training this same time last year, according to science, meaning last so-called Wednesday, we actually started training as Professor Saifullah was one of the people that, you know, took the training for a year already. He saw us in the chaplain's court being active. He saw us in the Criminal Justice Center, courtroom 304 and courtroom 305. And in those courtrooms, he actually participated for a year as an angel advocate. As an advocate, uh, he brought in various cases from the Ummah or the Islamic community, wherein the professor had sisters that they were in their burqa, they were fully in their hijab, Muslim sisters, and the Family Court of Philadelphia had colluded with DHS, Department of Human Services, to remove the child out of the home because the sister was wearing a burqa and you couldn't see her eyes. I mean, you couldn't see anything but her eyes, couldn't see her hands, anything. So whether it's for issues like that, or whether it's you or your spouse or your family members being compelled and so-called forced to have a vaccine, to get the vaccine shot, uh, our Philadelphia Interfaith Court, our International Interfaith Court, the Umbrella issued vaccine immunity certificates for 2020 and 2021, and they went over very well. We were able to protect dozens and dozens of families from being compelled to take the jab or being compelled to, being basically let go, laid off from all states, almost all states around the union were able to obtain our certificates, and we were, basically issuing them even in states like New York where they do not accept vaccine uh, exemption forms. However, we issued vaccine immunity forms, and the vaccine immunity forms is basically stating that you already took a shahada or you already have been baptized. So nothing that is anything that is not halal or kosher cannot enter your body. So we were able to be fortunate enough to advocate for families, and it's one time love offering that was given, and they children have been in colleges ever since. They have been able to return to their own jobs without being compelled or bullied on a job. So praise Allah for that. And this is our question and answer series. We expect to have one call on, but just know until then, I'm going to give you a little overview of the syllabus of what's going to be happening during the Ask the Magi course uh, for those who seek to become a judge. Because if you don't know, it's basically like a few of the states in the union have a secret judge school. And we say secret, even though it's really not secret. And it's really just something where people don't know about it. People don't even know. People have no idea that you could become a magistrate and without a law degree. Now, within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania jurisdiction, they only allow you to be certified and serve as a magistrate in the bail court position, the bail judge position. What does that mean? That means that if you would like to be a bail judge, which is the position that our community is in need of the most at this time, the bail judge is responsible for uh, basically setting bail and finding out if the person should have bail. And a lot of times, people get locked up on a weekend or they get locked up and they may be arrested and incarcerated for a week or two at a time, maybe 3 days. Uh, but in the meantime, they may not be the CEO of their position or their job. It may be a situation where they lose their job, even though they go to the regular court trial. 2 weeks later, they go to court, and then the judge tells them, "You're not guilty." And when they get to regular court, of course, the judge told them they're not guilty. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is they had to sit in jail for 2 weeks and lose their livelihood uh, in the meantime. That's the problem. Who wants to do that? So we have come up with the Ask the Magistrate syllabus, of which I will read the statement of need. The International Interfaith Court Pathway to Magistrate, the statement of need. Our community has a dire need for honest, compassionate, educated, and fair minded citizens to serve as arraignment court magistrate, formerly known as bail judge, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, right? Especially as many generations of foundational Black Americans have suffered unequal and heavy handed treatment by law enforcement. That often results in a false arrest, loss of wages, jobs, eviction, and homelessness. An ACM has the full authority to release any eligible defendant with low to no bail at the onset of a criminal case. We need our best minds and hearts to be aware of this rare opportunity to earn over $100,000 salary, starting salary, while balancing the scales of justice. There's also a need for our high clergy to serve in the various alternative and or diversionary courts, right? That are being commissioned locally and nationwide by the magistrate Mahdi Sufi Il and other hierophants. All right. So that's the statement of need. And just to go back a little bit, it was stating uh, that an ACM has full authority to release any eligible defendant with low bail, no bail, onset of a criminal case. And what that is stating is that a lot of times, if somebody is arrested, they are get wheeled into the court or dragged into the in person in the courthouse for an arraignment. The arraignment is before preliminary trial. The arraignment is to see if the charges are any good at all. Anyway, uh, so that is the onset, and 90% of the time that is done via ACT, Advanced Communication Technology, or do via closed circuit TV, right? So people see the judge, they don't even realize it is a judge. The person may be in regular clothes sometimes, a lot of times, and they actually are the person that they see on the TV screen when they're at the police district. So somebody gets alien abducted because they may be an original man, original woman, indigenous to the land, and they get abducted by alien occupying forces. So they get alien abducted by the Albions or by the Romans, so-called police. And during their abduction, they're doing experiments. All aliens like to pick through your, you know what I mean, do little experiments. So while they have falsely arrested you and they're doing the alien abduction experiments, one of them is to put you in front of that TV screen to figure out if you're going to get bailed out, if you're going to ROR, sign yourself out, released on own recognizance, or are you going to have to pay $1 million bail? In Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, is 10%. So a bail judge or arraignment court magistrate, such as myself, somebody comes before me and they have charges of disorderly conduct. The Eagles game, Eagles won the NFC championship, and they going wild on Broad Street. You see what I'm saying? Somebody gets arrested because there's a fist fight. They come before arraignment court magistrates such as myself. When they come before the arraignment court magistrate, I'm looking at the person's arrest history. I'm looking at if they have a job, their family composure, are they married, single, do they have children they take care of? I'm looking at everything about them, right? And that's my job, and that could be your job, and that's the needed position. Is these charges and this is the liability or the probability of the person doing the crime high enough for me to give them a high bail? Should I give this brother a high bail and make him lose his job? Is these charges worth it? Right? So a lot of times I may give them ROR. They can just sign themselves out with no money, release on own recognizance. Sometimes you may say, hey, $10,000 bail for you because it looks like you have done similar things in the past. Now, this does not mean that you're guilty this time. For all we know, the police could have it out for you and you become an easy arrest for them. So we're not stating that just because you have done it, just because you got arrested, that you did it. But I can see that you actually got found guilty in the past of similar crimes. So maybe I give you a $10,000 bail because the crime that you're being accused of is just shoplifting and it's not assault. So 10% of 10,000 is $1,000. So they had to pay $1,000 cash to get out, right? If somebody's more heinous with their crime that they're accused of allegedly, then maybe it'd be $100,000 bail, which would make them have to produce $10,000 cash, right? Of course, they can use car notes, I mean, car titles, house titles, any other type of collateral, right? So, with that was our statement of need for the Ask the Magistrate course. So, now about the instructor myself, Brother Makdi, Magistrate Makdi Sufi Eel, is more and a military veteran, a band leader of the indigenous peoples here in Kakwanak, Shakamexim area, right? I'm one of the band leaders, and I lead my band is called the Bay Band, Bay Band Family Trust, and that's my empress and my wife and my children, right? Um, and from 2013 to 2015, I had my interfaith chaplaincy, founded the alternative family court called the Philadelphia Interfaith Court, aka Chaplains Court, right? And my mission, my holy commission, is to restore the balance of justice, right? This is what it's about, y'all. My holy commission is to restore the balance of justice in our nation by raising civic awareness, by introducing Pennsylvanians to the arraignment court magistrate and magisterial district judge education and certification course given at the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. I am blessed in many ways and also by passing the arraignment court magistrate examinations for obtaining my certification diploma February 7th, 2023 CE. Expressing gratitude for this opportunity, my mission is to reach one and teach one to the paths of becoming a magistrate in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and other states, right? and within our ecclesiastical courts. Because see, I commission ecclesiastical courts. That's what I do. The goal is to obtain and maintain a space in conducting our magistrate workshops. We're doing that here. I think we got a guest on, Dr. Poetica Bay. Let's see. And we are going to implement it as a 90-day course. Okay. The role of the magistrate, we will be going over the civics refresher, right? We'll be going over, we'll be going also over contracting and commerce, legal versus lawful, United States Constitution, Pennsylvania Constitution. All right. Introduction to the Pennsylvania courts, search and seizure, and a whole host of other topics such as introduction to the interfaith judicial system, and even all the way down to foreign judgment enforcement. And that's what we have. And we have, I guess, to the stage we're going to bring on today, and ask and welcome to the Ask the Magi. My loveliness, there you go, the Empress, Dr. Poetica Bay. Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh,
Can you
okay, great.
you can hear me
Yes,
good?
I can hear you well. You're looking great. Wow, I love that hat, by the way.
I'm getting a lot of positive responses about this hat. It's handmade by myself. I made it.
Yes, yes, welcome, welcome. Um, and uh, I really invited you today for many reasons, but the main reason is you're one of the people that have powerful claims that our court has basically have not been able to take over the life of a couple years. And we have much more support now. We have much more technological tools and more technology and knowledge, and we have much more people who are out there in the field that basically empathize with the plight of those who have been misaligned by more powerful people, by agencies. So people are more passionate about it. So I wanted to bring you on, to ask you, like, what claim do you have? Because I was reading the notes within the paperwork you provided, and I just wanted you to introduce yourself and give me a little story or narrative about the issue at hand.
Okay. So I was thinking about thank you for giving me the opportunity, by the way, to even speak on it. I realized over time, originally some of these claims, I'm thinking of one in particular, but some of these issues that I've had that I've wanted to bring up a claim against people in reference to. Some of them have changed emotionally, mentally for me, the way I feel, my perspectives on them. But one in particular that remains, I would like to embark upon. And I think I'm speaking in a way because I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to verbalize it without just going on and saying it. But my issues and my claims are dealing with plagiarism. I'm a writer, I'm an artist, I'm a performer, and I've been that all my life. Like from a little baby, a little person, I've been performing. People could probably tell you recitals that they've seen me in, and I've always been that one. My parents are always encouraging me in the arts, and I've been in the arts all my life. University of the Art, Kappa Performing Arts High School, and even camps and programs as a child. So as I got older, I don't think I realized, probably until maybe even now, how important I was as a community member who was very good at art,
Mm,
very good performing, writing, speaking. At the time that I had met this individual that I would like to bring a claim up about, I think I met them when I was in college, if I'm not mistaken. I was at University of the Arts. when I met them, and the school, which closed down, of course, and for so many
Mm,
reasons, I always say it closed down because they were learning more from us than we were learning from them, and we didn't understand
interesting.
that then. So UArts was known for that hub of very creative people. If you just wanted a creative person, you could probably walk by to the steps of UArts and grab someone and say, "Hey, I want to hire you to do this," and they were excellent at whatever it was in the arts, and I was no exception to that. So the person that I met at the time was brought to me. Um, my phone is ringing. The person that was brought to me um, by a fellow poet and artist. They were introduced to me um, as Poetica, and that person was from what I understood, that person was like an entertainer by way of an album. I think they might have had an album out or a record out. They were they were interested in performing at the open mics that I hosted. At the time, I was hosting in Center City at a place called Wilhelmina's Lounge, and I hosted what was called Poetic Lounging, which was a poetry show that happened every Thursday, and it was advertised in a local newspaper. And if you came to the city of Philadelphia and you didn't have anything to do, you could open up the paper. This is, of course, before the social media. You could open up the paper and see that I was performing there. And so I did this every week, Thursday, and I made good money. Um, my father, I think, had got me the gig originally so that I could pay my own bills, and I did that show. It was a great show. And meeting this artist, and I'm just not saying his name right now because I want people to hear the story before they judge me on who it is, right? So once I met this performer, that evening that I met them, because they were brought to my home, um, after the show, I would never stay at the club because I was young. I was I was a little under 21, or maybe no, you know what? I was absolutely under 21, because at the time I would leave early. I would have them pack my food and everything and give me my pay in an envelope, and I would leave early. And there was two reasons why I would do that. One was because I was underage and I didn't want to. My dad just suggested that I would take my money home because he would say, if you make your money and you're young and you get paid and you stay where you are, you're going to spend your money. People can convince you to give your money back, buy alcohol, buy things, do things, just try to get your money from you. And so I was always told, when you get paid, to go home with your money. And so that's what I did. And if people wanted to see me and socialize with me, they had to meet me at my apartment in West Philly. And so this friend of mine, who was a poet, he brought his comrade to my home, in which he introduced me as a writer, somebody that could help him. And so I wrote, wow, I probably sat there and wrote back to back to back these poems. They were really intricate, okay? Because like I'm going to college for art. So when I wrote the poem, not only did I write the poems, I wrote how you're supposed to say them and the order. So I wrote these three-part pieces of of poems that were supposed to be performance art. We would do them as a collective, the three of us. We would perform these pieces. And they had segments to where it was like each one of us had a piece, but our pieces intertwined. So I wrote the intertwined pieces and my own piece as well. Oh, I don't hear you. Can you? I don't hear you.
Pardon me. Did y'all was an ensemble, a trio of sorts? Did you have a name for your trio?
Well, at the time, I don't even, at the time, my friend was a poet. He was a slam poet. He won a lot of slams. I was a slam poet who would win. I would win slams out of state. He had won slams locally. His name was Aki. He brought over my house a guy named Lamar, right? When he brought him over my house, I guess we got along. And the idea was that he wanted him to perform at my open mic. So people kind of at the time would talk to me in advance, like kind of like with Talib, Music Soul Child. Talib will come to my show early, 2 3 hours, sign the
Mm.
list, go to work, and come back. Lamar was being brought to me, I guess, like so I could feature him. Like, look, I got this great artist. You would love it if you could feature him. Well, as we started to communicate, basically we were sitting out chilling, smoking, right? And we're chilling and we're socializing. And we realized that our styles are similar. You know, we almost are like battling in poetry. It's a corny thing to say, but it was what we were doing. And
Is
as
it
we
that was the was those, pardon me, was those the days where the modern day battle rappers seem to take a page out of that book?
Yes, absolutely. So what we were doing was similar to what people consider now as the battle rap, but back then that was poetry. That was not. We would never have considered what people call rap today rap. We called that poetry, and it was spoken word to be specific. And so he was coming to me to probably like get a foot in to show off and say, "Hey, I'm good enough to get on your open mic." At the time, open mics were really closed. They really weren't that open. I had a list of people. My list was 10 or 15 people long, but I had acts that were known, people who were famous, people who would come to my gig, and then maybe 10 people wouldn't get on. So you had to kind of talk to me ahead of time if you thought you were going to get on the mic. And this was, I keep bringing the brother to me to say, like, I want him to get on. And so once we communicated and we started to have a synergy, we decided we would be a group. Put it this way, he wanted to be a group. I did not want to be a group. I was fine being
Mm.
me. Aki was fine being himself because Aki's style was really big and very different. And it was like the last poets. He did a lot of yelling, a lot of loud pontificating. Lamar was like the cool, guy. So what we did was I said, how about this? We'll try out these pieces together as an ensemble. If it works out, we'll do it. If the people like the pieces, we'll do the pieces. So we ended up performing those pieces that next week. Yeah, the next week and the next week after. When we performed them together the following week, it was very popular. It was a big deal. A lot of yelling and screaming, a lot of audience participation. They really enjoyed seeing us do these poems as a group and have poetry that bounced off of each other as far as communicating. So it was great. I thought it was cool. We came up with the title of Black Ice as the group and
Black Ice.
Black Ice. Yeah. So we came up with
Oh,
that.
okay. So that was the
And
name of the group because I remember that name Black Ice. That was very
mhm,
popular back in those days.
yes, it was popular because Russell Simmons was popular. And Russell Simmons is who Lamar went to. I guess Lamar met up with Russell
Hold up, you said
uh,
Russell Simmons from Def Jam?
from Def Jam.
From
He
Rush
met up
Entertainment? Who's Lamar? What's his last name?
Lamar Mason.
Oh, okay, Lamar Mason. And what did he have to do with Russell Simmons?
Well, I don't really know. All I know is one day I got a call. Lamar and I stayed friends. Uh, we did the Black Icing as poets together for a little bit, but mainly I was performing all the time doing poetry. He was cutting hair. He was a barber. I remember he was a barber, and he called me one day. Now this is a while. Some of my memory is a little bit because I've had an accident, but he called me one day, and I recall the first call. The first call was that he was with Russell. It was like one of them, you got your friend, you like, yo, just know you gotta hear
It
this.
finally make it to the label type of thing.
Yeah, type of thing. And so I was hyped because I was like, whoa, Russell Simmons. All I'm thinking is Run DMC and record label dude, and this could be great for us, right? People
Right.
would come to at the time, just to let you know what it was like. Me hosting at Wilhelmina's, a lot of people would come there. record label people, all kinds of people will come to Wilhelmina's at night to offer different things or whatever. So I was familiar with this thing, but not really. When Lamar was calling me, he was letting me know he was at Russell Simmons' home. He was actually at his mansion.
Oh, I see. So it wasn't like he was in Manhattan at the label or nothing. He called you straight from Russell Simmons' house,
He
his
was calling
mansion.
he was calling me from his home, calling me on a regular basis, daily from his home. These calls, sometimes we'd be on the phone for a long time and we would conversate, but then in a way, I just remember thinking to myself, well, what is it you're doing or what's going on? Now we would conversate and I thought it was great. I thought everything was fine. But just to give you an idea of what was going on, he was in distress in some type of way. And I remember not
Russell?
understanding.
Lamar.
No, Lamar was in distress while he was at Russell's house. Now, to me, it sounded like he was agitated. Lamar was always very cool and calm. But when he would call me from Russell's, it seemed like he was agitated and he was frustrated. And he would say stuff like, I don't know how long I gotta be here, why I gotta go through this, or how long I gotta go through this.
Mm.
And I don't know if I understood it then, but after a lot of things have come out about it, I realized that there was some things going on that may have been inappropriate and that he may have been going through something. But as a person he looked at me as an artistic um, person that was maybe older, more mature, but I was still a young person, I was a younger individual. So my true life experience was quite different than what I could pontificate about. What I wrote about was what I read and what I studied and what, it wasn't necessarily my own experiences. So when he would call me, we would be on the phone for hours. It seemed like Lamar was saying great stuff about how, this is going to be wonderful. And he would tell me these things that Russell wanted to do, and they sounded wonderful. You know, Russell wants to turn us into I'm sorry, let me go back. When he spoke about him and Russell, he talked about what Russell wanted to do for Lamar. Okay. He would say,
Individually, not for
individually,
Black Ice, the group.
not Black Ice as a group. He would say, Russell wants to turn me into this, wants to make me a big, basically, okay, let me go back. I'm sorry. Lamar does one of the poems I wrote for him, for Russell. He tells me this. I don't know for a fact. This is what he told me. He says, P, I did one of the poems you wrote. Russell loves it. Now I'm at Russell Simmons' house. I'm like, okay. He's like, I'm at his house and he wants to make me the number one poet in the world. And he wants to make poetry like hip hop. And he's going to turn our group into Run DMC of poetry. And I'm going to
Ooh.
be like the leader and I'm gonna do this and that and that. And I was like, oh, okay. So at the time, you're talking about mad literary. I'm just literary and not literally like how this generation always uses that word. I'm literary in the sense that I am into the writing, the idea of authors. I think Maya Angelou is the greatest person in the world. I am not celebrating a Russell Simmons. I'm celebrating education,
Yeah.
excellence, you know. And not to say that I didn't think hip hop was that, but you have to remember hip hop did not represent that at that time. It was still you still had Biggie and Tupac stuff going on. Diddy was number one. Everybody loved Diddy. So the world was different at that time, and poetry was bringing in a sobering that was very different than any other
So
entertainment.
pardon me. So let me ask you. Um, you gave him songs to perform
I gave him
and
poems to
poem.
perform.
What made you feel like it was plagiarism from there? That was your
Oh
first.
no, 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 it wasn't. No, it wasn't plagiarism at all from there. It only became plagiarism when um he signed an agreement with Russell to sign away our name, our titles, right? So the name
Mm,
of which was Black Ice, which was a name that I didn't even come up with. Stephen, Mr. Wilson came up with that. who was known as Brother Aki. He came up with the title to reflect for
He's the poet with you,
uh,
the original poet with you.
the original
So
poet with
Aki came up with the the term black ice for the group.
for the group.
All right. So go ahead now. Russell Simmons tells Lamar Mason, or
That,
he's telling you,
yeah,
he's
he's
reporting
letting
back to you.
that Russell is, that he signed it away. And at the time I was like, oh my God, how could you sign off a name that you didn't come up with? I even verbally said, I can't came up with that. How could you do that? So they were friends, so hey, I said, I don't know about that. But then I'm like, so basically it becomes plagiarism two ways because one, I communicate with him every day until I consult with him. So now at this point, I'm being a consultant. Russell is telling him, I'm gonna give you a deal. I'm gonna give you this amount of money. I think at the time it was $50,000. That Russell was offering as just a budget. So it might have been like 100,000 to sign, but the budget was 50. With the budget, I suggested that he get um, equipment to record, so that way he doesn't record inside of a recording studio,
And
incur
eat
costs.
up all his money.
There you go. And because that's the game too that industry people will do with you. And then by the time you finish this masterpiece, it don't belong to you because you racked up this cost of making it. So he said, okay, great idea. We go, we buy equipment, put the equipment in the apartment. And then I tell him, record everything at your own space, at your own leisure and at your own time. Well, as things start to pop off, all of the it's all me and you, and I'm the consultant, and it's all us and what we doing. Now it's more people around, more and more people. Every time I go to visit, it's more and more people. And I'm looking, I'm like, well, who is this person? Who's that person? And it's more and more energy. Like now, this person, I remember one of the last times I went to visit, I thought I was going to see Michael Jackson. And then when I looked at, like, before I talked to you to do this live, I checked the inbox just to see what our correspondence had been. And some of the correspondence over the years was very interesting because I would reach out and reach out. They would reach back and say things, but always be unobtainable, too obtainable to have a conversation to address the issues that we know are looming, as they say, the elephants in the room. But to go back, because I know could be talking in ways it's hard to understand.
Yeah, we were at the fact that he signed. You said Lamar Mason had gotten to the point with Russell Simmons in negotiations, and you consulted him through the negotiations to the point where he eventually let you know he signs away the rights to the name of your poetry group because y'all were
Yeah,
all called Black Ice at that
we were
point.
all
Before
black
that,
eyes together. And so what happens then is that he guarantees me in verbal agreement that don't worry. I don't care how you think it looks now. I'm going to do everything that I say I'm going to do for you. And so I start following him around the shows, watching him perform my poetry. Um,
okay, yeah, okay, go ahead. Now you started following him in Philadelphia. Where was he?
Everywhere. I remember some in Philadelphia, New York. A lot of them were in New York. Um, yeah, a lot of shows were in New York, driving different places everywhere, showing up here and there. He would call me, Uncle, meet me here. So in doing that and seeing him perform the pieces, he would quite eloquently before and after the shows tell people, "Oh, this is Poetica. She wrote this. That piece I do about this or that." And I think at the time it might have been about the father, the lone soldier. This piece I do, that's the lady who wrote it. And he would introduce me to Stan Lathan, who was Sanaa Lathan's father. Stan Lathan is a producer, or I'm sorry, he passed away. He was a big time
Right.
producer of a lot of films and media that people know. Stan was also working on,
Stan Lathan. Yeah, I remember Stan Lathan. I mean, in the industry, he was a heavy hitter. And okay, so he introduced you to Stan Lathan. And what? Go ahead.
he would introduce me as the author of these poems, the person who wrote it, blah, blah, blah. And that was cool for me. I mean, like I said, I was young. I was accomplished already as a poet. At least I felt that I was. And I thought I was doing something for a friend of mine uh, that was working on the art. He always told me, well, we're going to put this out and we're going to do the whole album and this and that. And I mean, he had
So
a
what
very,
made you think it was, pardon me, I'm just moving it along because whenever we take on a case, the first part is our preliminary portion where we basically hear a person's testimony and find out if it's a good enough case for us to take at the interfaith court or, you know, at our faith-based court or our arbitration service. So he seems like at this point he told you he's selling the name to Black Ice. He sold the name. He sold away the rights to the name of the group Black Ice. So they just went away with that name. Whatever happened to the name Black
well,
Ice?
he sold the name. And then once he sold it to Russell Simmons applied it to him and he was Black Ice. And he performed as Black Ice for a very long time. He still does. He reached out to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back to a very important part. Before Stan Lathan passed, one of the last times that I was in New York with them, I believe I was at Joe's Pub. It was Joe's Pub, me, Lamar. It was a concert. It might have been a Def Poetry concert. After that concert, we're outside. And I remember, I mean, it was actors from the movie New York Undercover was out there. It was a bunch of people out there. And Lamar mentions me again. Somebody says something and they say something about a line. He said, well, thank her for that line. And then Stan goes off. Stan starts screaming at him, saying, shut up, shut it up, cut it out, quit it. Don't say it again. That's it. I don't want to ever hear that again. And you better not ever say it again. And Lamar looked at him. I looked at him, startled.
So Stan Lathan, he, I mean, passed away. Um,
Rest in
but
power.
it he's we have other complaints of him being somewhat of a gatekeeper, but this is extreme. You saying Stan Lathan told Lamar Mason when Lamar basically was trying to give you some kind of acknowledgement,
It's verbal acknowledgement in a social setting with a group of our
but
peers.
Russell Simmons told him you're Black Ice now, not the group. It's just only you. Lamar Mason is Black Ice.
Stan Lathan told him in front of the whole public crowd of people, do not ever do that. And after he went off and, screamed and said it, he kind of pulled Lamar to the side and basically, I could still hear, like a lot of folks could still hear him talking, was saying that, Lamar had signed certain paperwork and had did certain things with Russell that he was not supposed to he was no longer supposed to say that. I guess the agreement was that it was all about him
Mm.
and the likeness of him, and that I guess I know I was supposed to understand. I suppose that I didn't exist, and I pretty much have gone into obscurity after that. I had mentioned to Lamar at that time he wanted to give a significant amount of his budget to Jill Scott to do a song, and I suggested it wasn't necessarily the greatest idea, although I understood because these were hometown friends who wanted to support one another. But I did let him know it could actually drop the bottom out of his budget because he only had 50,000 and she wanted 30 to do an appearance. And so that's when I guess I realized around that whole time that almost everything that I was being told was a lie. I was probably by this time I was 21, I'm certain. And
So I like to jump in.
yeah,
So I've heard enough for now. I've heard enough because your claim, this is our, like I said, our preliminary. I
okay.
let people come on for free or to give a love offering and we can hear their case. And if it's good enough of a case, then we will go forward with the case. Your claim was plagiarism. And if you want to amend your claim later and add on other charges, you can meditate on those. And I will assign that angel advocate to you to maybe flush out some of those other charges. Um, and that you might need to charge them with. However, I was just trying to get a storyline enough, and I, let you kept going. So I see there is merit there in where he plagiarized the name of your group and took it on himself, and then also he began to sing and perform your poetry. And did he make money off of it? Was he given the accolades for it?
Absolutely. He won all kinds of awards. He won Emmys. He won, I believe, a Peabody. He won all kinds of stuff. And when I tell you, it was hard for me. I went through a lot. I've definitely kind of dealt with it emotionally. But for some years it was really hard for me because he wasn't the only artist or person who I had worked with who knew about my work who was doing that. So it
All right,
started.
pause. So I appreciate that because I'm going to rule on that it is acceptable. We will take your case. And so thank you for bearing your soul out. And then it's hard sometimes to rehash these stories that are painful and where people have taken your legacy and your finances and everything, and your words sound power and have used it to catapult themselves. So we will take the case on for plagiarism and other charges. We will send you information in your email so that you can sign that we are advocating for you, and also, we will summons that person on to our court session to answer here on live at our chaplain's court. And if they do not show up, that's on them. We will rule against them, or we'll rule accordingly. So we will summons him. And I find that this is a credible case to move forward. Please stay tuned. We will email you within a day or so, within the next time that you should come on to finish your claim, and I will assign an advocate to you so that way you can meditate on the storyline and the narrative so you can express it in a more streamlined manner if possible. Some of it is not able to, and we will have to let you do a full testimony like today. We appreciate your time, Dr. Bay, Dr. Poetica Bay.
Thank
We
you.
love you, and we appreciate everything. I'm going to just find that there is adequate information for move forward, and stay on. Uh, please stay on as we take the next case.
Oh, he said, I'd like to know. Standing Rock says,
Please stay on. I'm going to take the next case.
oh, okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Stage. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. If you just tuned in, we are here in Chaplain's Court. This is the Ask the Magistrate uh, question and answer series, and we just in this portion. Okay. All right. So we're back. Pardon me. I'm trying to bring somebody on, and let's see if you can get D Standing Rock whistling out. Standing Rock, are you there? OCL. Let's see if he can hear us. Let's see. All right. Please log back on, Brother Standing Rock, if you can. We got messages from Prince Bishop Alfred Phillips, Prince Bishop in the house. We are listening. Islam, one love to you, Prince Bishop. Thank you. Thank you for attending. Michael L says Islam's greeting Magi Sufi L. Islamism. Praise Allah for you attending. Um, we got one of our super trolls, Mr. Swindle Hoodwinked, who has been one of those cyber trolls who probably Chinese China bot who spreads fake news about indigenous people and Moors and stuff. All right. So we're striving to get, we thank all of y'all for tuning in to watch the glory of the Lord and watch us. We're striving to get Standing Rock. Our Standing Rock, are you there? Put on your, we don't hear you and I can't see you uh, of what's going on. Let's see if I can get him. He says he was just getting a minute. He's back on. Let's see if he's back on. We can get him. But if you just tuned in, you're tuned in to Ask the Magistrate. Um, and this is our chaplain's court portion where we actually take on cases one at a time to find out if they're a good enough case in order for our chaplain's court and or their Allah's angel advocates to be able to advocate for them. Honors to Miss Barbara Salzman, who's one of our elders we just advocated for, and for elder abuse. And so if you have family members that are getting taken advantage of by home health aides and stuff like that, any of those issues, please contact the Philadelphia Interfaith Court and you can ask the Magi question and answer sessions. You can cash at me a love offering of 50 notes and I will take your case to see if it's a good in the case. Here we go. Add to stage. Brother Standing Rock, are you there?
OCO, can you hear me?
Yo, Dahatsu, how you doing there, brother?
I'm wonderful. How are you,
Thank you for
beloved?
attending. Oh,
Yes,
coming along.
great to see the show, man. It's great to see that you actively moving forward. It's to high praises to you and all the well guesses that you have there on viewing in. This is a vital,
Yeah,
important element that helps heal and bring awareness to the community who lack a voice and some remedy that needs to be heard. So
yes.
giving the assets to the community is wonderful. I appreciate you.
Yes, I appreciate you as well. If you all don't know, Brother D Standing Rock Whistling Owl is one of our indigenous peoples leaders, one of our chiefs here in Shakamaxim, Kakwinaku area here, and we appreciate his long-standing commitment to indigenous Aboriginal people, American Indians, and original people and he is the founder of the Standing Rock Learning Center, which we have enjoyed over the years, off and on with various events and various classes, and even daycare for our young little ones. So we appreciate you for that, brother. If you just tuned in or just started to watch, we take on cases, but in when we don't have uh, cases, we do take question and answer from the general public. But also, just so you know, because since it's you on the line, I have to tell you because it's very important. But they've been doing advanced communication technology (ACT) since the 80s, and when people get locked up at any police district, they're still like on closed circuit TV for the most of the time, right? And when they see their arraignment court judge, but also what happens is because of what Barack Obama did and what the future presidents did after him, they opened it up, and now that's why you have Zoom court since the pandemic came. They always had it was always legally accessible to do Zoom court, but people emotionally would not accept it and they would actually think the court was being janky or fake, even though it's not illegal. But since the coronavirus pandemic, scandemic, plandemic came about, people have been going to court on Zoom exponentially higher. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So what happens is this forum, the court is wherever you and the clerk and the record is being held at. And so little do people know that when they come on that I'm a certified magistrate, first by the Holy Scriptures, and then secondly, also by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And so what happens is when we do these cases in this organic format, in this holistic format, it is still legally binding. This is deep. So just know when we do these claims against people, if they don't show up for their summons, swindle hoodwink, like he's a supreme troll on the line, and you see him on the chat. Those are the people that people probably will have claims against him. People who have claims against Southern Poverty Law Center and all this stuff. These are legally binding sessions. So if they don't show up, all the electronic communications acts will actually kick in, and the remedy can be sought after, even in the United States of America venue, because this is the record right here, and I'm a lawful magistrate. So we're conducting this in a proper way, so that way it will count on many levels, Lord willing. This is how it's done. So I'm just telling you that as a chief, because I know you have so many constituents, and you can aid and assist us with this grand uplifting endeavor. So, did you have any statements or questions you'd like to add on, Standing Rock, before we sign out? Okay. Well, we thank the brother for actually coming on again today. Um, and let's see, we're going to wrap up now. Actually, I appreciate everybody for attending. This has been the first session of our International Interfaith Court Ask the Magi sessions, where you can ask the magistrate anything lawful, legal, and any concerns in life. Please provide a love offering of 50 notes or whatever you like, and I'm going to answer your questions. I'd like to thank all my guests that came on, Dr. Poetica Bay, and which we are taking her claim, and also uh, who is a doctor of humanities, by the way, by and certified and commissioned by the illustrious and legendary Anointed by God Ministries. Come on now, Anointed by God Seminary, and it's by the Prince Bishop Alfred Phillips. He's on the line right now. So high honors to Prince Bishop Alfred L. Phillips and bestowing Dr. Poetica Bay with her doctorate in humanities for all the work she's done over the years. All right. And Alfred L. Phillips has his accredited chaplaincy, accredited um, school program, high school diplomas that he gives, and that they have classes in Jersey City, Brooklyn, and beyond. So praise Allah for him. So thank you, Prince Bishop Alfred L. Phillips, for coming on. Thank you, Dr. Poetica Bay. Also, high honors and thanks to Standing Rock Whistling Owl. And I'd like to give Islam shalom, shalom, shalom. We'll be back next time, inshallah.